Jessica in Matthews, North Carolina. Hey, Jessica, what's on your mind today?
Hey, my name is Jessica Manning, and I'm actually a transgender woman from Charlotte, North Carolina. I'm living in Matthews currently, right on the border. I was actually calling to discuss the lawsuits going on currently between the Department of Justice and the state of North Carolina, especially with Pat McCrory. I would just want to say, if you support Bernie, the Occupy Wall Street, the Black Lives Matter, you should really be fighting this bill and reaching out to support the LGBT community, because McCrory's really just using this as a smokescreen to really, incite his campaign supporters for his reelection and to cap the minimum wage.
Yep. Part of it was the preemption preventing Charlotte, the town where you live, Jessica, from providing protections to people like yourself. And part of it was preventing Charlotte from raising their minimum wage or offering worker protections that go beyond those kind of things. And he's using this whole, bathroom thing where it's a non-issue. It's like voter fraud. It's a non-issue. But the Republicans have succeeded in passing, voter suppression laws now in 33 states over a non-issue. And now we've got 3 states that are doing this kind of thing. And it's crazy. It's wrong. It's morally wrong. It is the values of this country. It's inconsistent with the values of this country. And I really hope that the president just, brings down the wrath of God on North Carolina. He has the ability to cut off their highway funds, and he has the ability to cut off all the funding for the state university there, and is threatening to do so. And I wish he would move along a little faster. I think this is just outrageous.
Yeah, they actually declined to cut all the funding so far, which is really ridiculous, especially when McCrory is calling to change the actual civil rights laws.
Right.
The civil rights laws. So, that is completely ridiculous. But the fact that the media is just scandalizing this to be all about the bathroom issues when, trans people have been using the bathrooms forever, obviously.
Sure.
It is just ridiculous because they're ignoring the major issues like the minimum wage or the fact that 15% of trans people, 25 or 23% of multiracial trans people, 35% of Black trans people, and 28% of Latino trans people makes less than $10,000 annually. And the non-discrimination ordinance that was passed in Charlotte, that this whole House bill was, signed to combat, there were no actual job protections for trans people in there whatsoever. That was all about customers and vendors and suppliers and stuff.
Right.
But there was no actual job protections. 26% of trans people are fired just for being trans.
Wow.
And the weird thing is they're making this all about protecting the children and protecting women from sexual predators. But, there was recently, I think today, Reverend Kenneth Worley was arrested for assaulting women. Then there's that Dennis, it was the Hastert who was, a lazy boy in the locker room and everything.
Oh, you're more likely to be solicited in a men's room or a women's room, presumably for that matter. I think by a Republican politician than by a trans person. In fact, I don't have any recollection of any trans person ever being arrested. You would think if it had ever happened, it would be high profile because the Republicans would be pumping it like crazy. Everybody, it would be like Willie Horton. Everybody would know that person's name. But if we need to be worried about anybody in our bathrooms, it's Republican politicians.
Exactly. And the fact that they're doing this to schools are just ridiculous because, 44% of LGBT students have been physically attacked while in schools.
Yeah.
So, they're just putting students in more harm. And it's really caused a skyrocket in the calls to the Trans Lifeline, the suicide prevention line for trans people.
Yep.
They've had over 200 calls every single day. And he's not even touching the subject of, the LGBT homelessness in North Carolina, because I know especially in Charlotte, the LGBT homelessness and especially the trans homelessness has really skyrocketed. The average age that a trans kid is kicked out is 13, and 1 in 5 trans people, have to experience homelessness at some point.
Wow.
20 to 40% of homeless youth are actually LGBT. And that's out of 1.6 million. So that's around, 320 to 400,000 trans homeless children, which is just ridiculous.
Yeah.
What about the violence?
That's a tough one. I have a trans nephew, and thank God my brother and his wife are super supportive of him. But it's the initial reactions. But increasingly, people are discovering that trans people are all around us. They're in our families. They're in our communities. People like yourself, Jessica, and we're all here together. We're all humans in this thing, and to pick basically what Pat McCrory is doing is he's saying, okay, picking on black people, that worked 30, 40 years ago, but, there's enough of them and they've got enough political power now that, we really can't pick on the black people. And picking on gay people, that used to work, but, they've got some. So let's pick on the trans people because, it's like going for the lead. It is the most cowardly thing I can imagine. Go for the least of the least, to paraphrase Jesus. And instead of supporting them, trashing them, it's obscene. It is so wrong. Jessica, thank you for calling. Thank you for having all that information at the tip of your fingers verbally.
No problem. Make sure to check out my trans activism blog, The T-Spot Daily. It's on Facebook.com/TheTspotUS, or TheTspot.us is our actual site.
Okay, the T-Spot.us.
Yes,
Got it.
D spot T spot.
Got it. Okay, Jessica, thank you so much, and thanks for the call.
To watch more clips from our programs, hit the Watch More Videos button over here, and please be sure to hit the handy-dandy subscribe button so you'll always be up to date. Tag, you're it.